My paranormal experience. It was the winter of 2016, and I was having a hard time dealing with life. I was in rehab for opiate drug use and had taken a turn for the worst mentally. I had relapsed and got kicked out, and stayed in a homeless shelter for a month. I managed to get an emergency check for a ride back to my hometown straight to the hospital so I could be admitted to the psychiatric unit. I was a mess and ended up staying in there for over a month. There was a lady there who I had become good friends with. She was very kind to me and always talked to me and paid attention to me. I will not mention her name due to respect for her privacy. One day, she mentioned that she was planning on killing herself if she couldn't get the help she needed, and she bought a bottle of sleeping pills to take if she was going to do it herself. I have taken a whole bottle of sleeping pills and it did nothing but give me a very intense high that lasted for days and put me in outer space, so I knew it wouldn't kill her. I didn't want to rat her out because she would lose all her privileges and not be allowed to go out for smokes, so I let it slide. One day she is nowhere to be found on the unit, and all of her belongings are still in her room. I thought this was very strange and asked the nurses about her, but nobody would tell me anything due to patient confidentiality. It was about 7 p.m. when the nurses changed shifts and I got an overwhelming bad feeling about my lady friend. I started crying quite hard and asked God to please help her. One of the nurses comes in while I am bawling and asks what is wrong, so I tell her about my bad feeling for the lady and how all her things were in her room but she's nowhere to be found. The nurse says she cannot say anything about her and that she was sorry. Fast forward to the next day, it's about 8 p.m. and my lady friend comes back onto the unit. I was in the computer room on the computer at the time she came back. She comes into the computer room to say hi and talk to me. We get into a discussion about what happened and how she was doing. She tells me that she ate a bottle of sleeping pills, plus a bottle of Tylenol nighttime, and washed it down with a bottle of mouthwash. The Tylenol had destroyed her liver, and she was dying and needed a liver transplant to survive. She was laying there dying in the bed hoping they could find a transplant for her in Halifax 5 hours away when around the shift change time the night before that she tells me my spirit appeared beside her in her bed. I give her shit, her word, for trying to kill herself. I then shine a light on her and her liver miraculously repairs itself completely and is restored with no damage whatsoever. The doctors were astounded and baffled at what happened. They could not explain it. That girl needed a liver transplant or she was dead, but I saved her life. When she is telling me this, the medical doctor assigned to the psychiatric unit comes into the computer room where I and the lady are talking, and she looks at my friend and says to her, "What the hell did they give you upstairs?" With the most puzzled look I've ever seen on a doctor's face. She then looks at her notes, shakes her head, looks back at my friend, and then turns around and leaves with a very strange look on her face.